o'clock. I'm going to have to separate it because I got some advanced students. But if anyway, I did have a parent ask me one day if I taught strings. What we do, violin, cello, viola, and string bands. If you want to play that. If you're interested in learning how to play a string instrument, welcome to come. It's Tuesday night at the new high school band. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 o'clock. Oh, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Hymn number 213. We will glorify the King of Kings. We will glorify the Lamb. We will glorify the Lord of Lords, who is the great I am. Lord Jehovah reigns in majesty. We will bow before His throne. We will worship Him in righteousness. We will worship Him alone. He is Lord of heaven and Lord of earth. He is Lord of all who live. He is Lord above the universe. All praise to Him we give. Hallelujah to the King of Kings. Hallelujah to the Lamb. Hallelujah to the Lord of Lords, who is the great I am. Let's do that first verse one time without the instruments. Everybody, the first verse. We will glorify the King of Kings. We will glorify the Lamb. We will glorify the Lord of Lords, who is the great I am. Now that was gorgeous. I need you guys up here. Okay, let's all stand as the others come forward. His name is wonderful. His name is wonderful. His name is wonderful. His name is wonderful. Myers. Program, major in the program. I couldn't figure out how to work that machine up there, the cassette player. We couldn't get it to work, and that's why Sean's singing. He said, y'all might help me with that in the future.
I sold my song still on cassette tape.
into this morning. He's not here, and hey, you can tell him I said that. I'm ready to he is, all right? That ought to rile him up. It's good to be in God's house this morning, amen? Amen. I'm sorry for the reason I'm having to be here. You do need to hold your pastor up in your prayers and just continue to be behind him. We're going to be this morning in 2 Samuel chapter 11. All this past quarter in my Sunday school class at Emmanuel Baptist in Wagner, we've been in 1 Samuel study. I love the study of Samuel. When I first came back to church in my adult years, the first Bible study we were in was in the book of Samuel. We went through 1 and 2 Samuel under Eddie Jennings and Emmanuel. And this has always been a special study for me. But we're going to be in 2 Samuel chapter 11. You're familiar with the story of David and Bathsheba, how David had seen her bathing on a rooftop, and he sends for her even though she was married to Uriah, and he sleeps with her, and she gets pregnant, and David gets in a pickle. And we're going to pick the story up there, beginning in verse 6 of chapter 11. And David sent to Joab, saying, "Send me Uriah the Hittite." And Joab sent Uriah to David. And when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. And David said to Uriah, "Go down to thy house and wash thy feet." And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mess of meat or a big plate of food from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and he went not down to his house. You see, Uriah was a man of character. He was a man of dignity. And when they had told David, saying, "Uriah went not down unto his house," David said unto Uriah, "Camest thou not from thy journey? Why then didst thou not go down unto thy house?" And Uriah said unto David, "The ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into my house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As thou livest, and as thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing." And David said to Uriah, "Tarry here today also, and tomorrow I'll let thee depart." So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and tomorrow. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And at even he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his lord, but he went not down to his house. And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab, and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in that letter, saying, "Set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die." And it came to pass, when Joab observed the city, that he assigned Uriah unto the place where he knew that valiant men were. And the story goes on that Uriah died in battle. And the passage closes in verse 27. But the thing David had done displeased the Lord. Let's pray. Father God, we may never do anything to be said that it displeases you, Father. But Father, we too, just like David, we can be a man or woman after your heart, Father. But we still fall and we still stumble at times. Father, may we find your forgiveness. May we find your grace, Father. And may we have a heart like Uriah, Father, wanting to be out there in a battle for you. Father, just show us your truth in your word today, Father. We ask in Christ's name. Amen. It's obvious that David had, of course, ulterior motives for wanting Uriah to stay at night at his own house. And then, when Uriah wouldn't go, then David did the next day what he do. He got him drunk. And he still wouldn't go. But I like what Uriah said to David in verse 11 there. He said, "As thou livest, and as our soul liveth, I will not do this thing. Now, David is a very wonderful Bible character. We usually see him cast in a great light in the Bible stories that we've grown up with since children. You know, David and Goliath. Even the stories of him going out when he could have had a couple opportunities to kill Saul, the anointed king, and he wouldn't do it because David was more obedient to God than he was to himself, you know. But in this passage here, he had sinned against God by committing adultery with a lady named Bathsheba. And because she was a married woman, David tried to cover up this sin by planning the murder of her husband. And now David overlooked the godly character of Uriah. Being a Hittite, Uriah had obviously rejected the gods of his family, and he came to serve Jehovah, the one true God. And he married a Jewish girl named Bathsheba, and he joined the Israelite army, and he moved up the ranks. He became an officer, and his conversion experience was such a life-changing decision that he became this red-hot patriot. He was anxious and willing to fight for the God of his king. People, we need to be that patriot, amen?
Amen.
We need to be anxious and willing to get out there at the forefront of the battle for our Lord. But David, after he sins with Bathsheba, he sins for Uriah, and to Uriah's surprise, David offered him what every soldier out on the front line in that heat of battle would want, you know, just a little time off, come home and spend some time with my family. And David, you know, he tells him, he says, hey, buddy, he says, it's good to see you. You've been out there fighting for your country, and I'm glad to see you home. I want you to spend a little time with your wife. I've catered in some food. You just go home and eat, drink, and be merry. Now, Uriah, he didn't have a clue what was going on. But he looked David in the eye, and he says, as thou livest and as thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing. See, a battle was raging. And Uriah, he wanted to return to the front line. He wanted to be where the battle was hot. My friends, the battle's still raging out there today. As Bible-believing Christians, we're in a fight for our lives today. The government, the media, the secular education today, humanism, cultism, the occultism, they're all trying to get us to pull back from the front line. And listen, the church is the last obstacle in Satan's path. This is the last line of defense. So what's the front line? One front line is separation. Moses, you remember, he drew a line on the ground. He said, who's on God's side? Elisha drew a line on the ground when he said, if you're for the prophets of God, you get over here. If you're for the prophets of Baal, you get over here. Remember, to a Christian, separation is a line of boundaries that separates you from the world. Lines are being drawn today, but sadly, people are pulling back from the doctrine of separation. And they're incorporating that world too much in their lives. Another front line is soul winning. I think we're losing that battle too often too. Soul winning, that's attacking Satan's army. That's capturing converts for Christ. That's dragging them back across the line, you know. That is the front line, soul winning. This pastor told a story one time about this lady in his church gave him a call, and something happened to her brother. He was out on a construction job one day, and he happened to be out there on a Sunday, and he was the only one out there on the construction site, supposedly. And somebody had taken a 16-penny, how many of you guys know what a pneumatic nail gun is? They took a 16-penny pneumatic nail gun and they pumped 5 nails through his heart. And the lady had called and she says, preacher, you got to come. I think my brother's going to die. And so the pastor went to the hospital and the police escorted him back to the family. And they said, you just got to pray. He's not saved and we don't want him to die yet. So they all prayed and the surgeon came out and he says, you know, it's a miracle. Five nails went through his heart, but not one of them hit a major valve. And the think he's going to be okay. So in 2 days, he was off the respirator, and the preacher went back to see him. And there was this rather large nurse that was there. She was kind of there as guard, and the preacher started talking to the man about Jesus, and tears started running down his cheeks. And as soon as that preacher got his Bible out, the phone rang. And then the dietary people came in to try to feed him. And some other nurses came in, and the pastor just prayed and says, Lord, help me. Well, that nurse that was in there, she got over in front of the door, and she just kind of backed up against it, and she goes, you go ahead, preacher, I'll help you. You know what happened? That man was gloriously saved that day. That day, a man was dragged from the devil's side over to God's side. People's soul winning is a front line. And we need to be on that front line, amen? That's what the Bible's all about, is us going out. Jesus said to go and to make disciples. Today, more than ever, you're needed on the front line. We need Sunday school teachers. We need nursery workers in our churches. We need soul winners. We need preachers, evangelists. We need missionaries. We need choir members. Amen? We need deacons. We need Christian school teachers. We need them to be out there on the front lines. We need moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas, okay, that'll teach these kids the old-time religion instead of teaching them what's popular today. Amen? We need to get back to basics. We need parents that'll take a stand on the tough issues that are facing our young people today. And we need some preachers that stand up and oppose the worldliness that's creeping into our churches. And we need deacons that'll back them up. Today I want to challenge all of you to return to the front line. You may be saying, just give me one reason. Because I'm already saved. Why should I give up my leisure time to serve God? Why should I be in church every Sunday night, every Wednesday night? Why should I go out on visitation? Look, I want to give you several reasons to return to the front line, and it's all found in this passage of Scripture that we just read. First of all, you need to return to the front line because our faith is being attacked today. Look at verse 11 again. Uriah, he looked David eyeball to eyeball, and he says, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents. He was saying, look, David, the ark is out there. Now the ark, it's a place of God's abode in those days. It was a symbol of their faith, and this illustrates that our faith is being attacked today. All right, Uriah told David, said, you don't understand. I'm not going to stay home. I'm not going to stay home and lollygag when God and the ark of God are still out there. Today, the media and over Hollywood, and they're all attacking your faith today. You know, whenever they get the chance to present a preacher, they usually show him as a bumbling idiot. They're humanists. They're evolutionists. The government is attacking our faith. Former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura, how many of y'all remember that name? What a guy. He said this. He said, organized religion is a sham and a crutch for weak-minded people who need strength in numbers. It tells people to go out and stick their noses in other people's business. He says, I live by the golden rule. Treat others as you want them to treat you. Does the religious right want you to tell people how to live? People, we're the religious right. He's talking about you and me. Our faith is being attacked today. And when the front line is strong, you know, the church doesn't look too weak to the world out there. But when we step back from the line and just a few of us are left out there, I tell you what, those that are left, you're going to get your heads cut off. We need to band together. If we ever get to the place where they can come into our homes and take our guns, I guarantee you one day they will come and get our Bibles. It happened in Germany in the 1940s. Don't think it can't happen here. We have to return to the front line. Your morals are being attacked and they're being laughed at. Your freedom of worship is being attacked. You know, the same thing that closed the doors on churches in other countries It can close them in America real soon if we don't get back to the front line of the battle. We're losing our religious freedoms just even as I speak today. Guys, we let them kick God out of schools in the 60s. The Christian voice stood by and let it happen. We let them kick God out. And it's becoming called hate crimes today in some areas when you speak out against issues like abortion and homosexuality. They already tried to implement that in Houston, just in last couple of years. You know, we have national freedom today in this country died out on the battlefield. But we also have our spiritual freedom because of godly preachers and teachers and deacons and Christian churches that have held on to the line of righteousness and soul winning all these years. And if we want to keep those religious freedoms, it's our turn. We've got to get busy. I know that many of us have been busy, but it's going to take everybody. Everybody. Our faith is being attacked. But we also need to return to the front line because our country is being attacked. In verse 11 there, Uriah, he said, Israel is out there. Now that Israel was symbolic of his country. And he was saying that the nation I love is being attacked. Listen, I know there's a lot of things wrong with the United States of America. Well, there's more wrong with it today than there was last week. I still rather live here than anywhere else in the world. Amen. 40 years ago, it was illegal to burn flags. 40 years ago, a communist was a communist. Now they've got access to our Pentagon. 40 years ago, the lesbians, the homosexuals, they weren't in public office, and if they were too ashamed to let anybody know. 45 years ago, people valued human life and abortion was illegal. And now we're killing babies and we're selling their tissues for profit and for research. 40 years, it's going to take us. I don't know about our country, but I know one thing. I'm not going to be part of the problem. I want to be part of the solution. How about you? The solution is godly living by separation and by soul winning. By staying in the front line. You can wear a Christian t-shirt, you can call your congressman and share your Christian views, but nothing will ever take the place of a good old-fashioned knock on the door and tell somebody about Jesus and dragging them from the devil's side to God. Our country is being attacked. Another reason to return to the front line is because our families are being attacked today. In verse 11, Uriah said that Judah is out there. Now, Uriah was a Hittite. He married into Judah's family, and he was saying, David, you don't understand because my in-laws are out there. He goes, I got cousins out there, David. I'm not going to go home and have a banquet when I still have family out there and people are trying to kill them. Now, you may not think it's your job to defend the faith. You may not think it's your job to fight for your church by serving in some ministry. And by the way, y'all got a lot of people in this church that serve. I get around different churches, and y'all have one thing that you're blessed with, and you have a lot of people that serve. But I tell you what, if you're not serving, they have a place for you. You can't have too many workers in God's house. I just can't figure out why God's people will leave the front line of service and just sit in a pew while the spiritual welfare of their families is at stake. But it happens all over the place. Our families are being attacked. Man, I got a lot of grandkids, y'all. I don't know how many. 26, 12? Might as well be. We've got grandkids, and we've got legal custody grandkids, and we've got step-grandkids, and I've even got 3 ex-legal custody grandkids that don't know any different, and we're still their grandparents. But I love all my grandkids. I love them all the same. They're all Papa Dean's kids, and they'll tell you so. And I just wonder what kind of society they're going to have to grow up in. And I wonder, because of my Christian beliefs, will they have to come visit me in jail one day? Or will I have to go visit them in jail because of their beliefs? Listen, the devil is after your family.
Amen.
We need preachers that will get back in the pulpits and preach on some of these sins. The Bible tells us to reprove, to rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. It's our preachers' jobs to take the cover off of sin. There are watchdogs, and listen, watchdogs that don't bark are just not any good to us, are they? And I think you got a pretty good watchdog in Brother Steve. I've known him a long, long time. If the world sees the front line of the church weakened, your family is going to suffer. We've got to return to the front line. Another reason that we need to return to the front line is that your pastor is under attack. In verse 11, Uriah says, Joab is out there. Now that's a picture of his leader, okay? People, your pastor is your leader. How many times does he feel like he's out there all by himself? Your pastor needs deacons to stand behind him and support him. He needs church members that are supportive, that are loyal. All right? But in too many churches today out there, it's just not the case. Every morning when your pastor wakes up, he's already behind before he gets started. He starts off praying the devil off of the backs of your family, and his mind is occupied with what he's going to feed you when Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday rolls around. And he's the one who marries your children, and he buries your loved ones that go on to meet Jesus, and he carries your burdens when the going gets tough. And he's out there on the front line every day. And that's probably what's got him where he's at right now. He visits you when you're sick or when you're in the hospital. He takes a stand against the enemies of your family and the church as he goes out there and he fights liberalism and humanism and occultism and all the other isms that are out there. And he's your coach as he tries to motivate you to go out there and win souls and to serve God. And his biggest fear, let me tell you, the biggest fear of any pastor is a dead church. But you know, there's more. He's got a family too. He does. He has a wife to love and care for. He's got kids to love and care for. And he has a house to keep up. And he has a car to maintain. And you know, just like your car, it likes to break down sometimes. And he has bills to pay. And he's got a body to take care of. And he's got feelings and emotions and dreams. And sometimes, and I don't understand this, but sometimes he gets tired. The pastor is being attacked today. Uriah says, I'm going back to the front line and I'm going to fight beside my leader. Listen, a God-called pastor will go out there and fight the battle alone if he has to. But it's a whole lot easier when he is surrounded by a congregation of people that love him and prove their love through loyalty. Serve alongside your pastor. If you don't know what to do, ask him. I guarantee you, he can put you in the right place. We need to stand up and fight with our leader. We need to stand up and fight with our pastor. The pressure is really on our pastors today, and we better return to the front line and encourage them. And the last reason Uriah gives us here to return to the front line is because your church is being attacked. He said that my Lord Joab and the servants of my Lord are encamped in the open fields. He said the servants of God are out there. They're not here. He's talking about your friends at church. He's talking about those that sit next to you every Sunday. He's talking about the people that you pray with. He's talking about the people that you laugh with and you cry with and you carry each other's burdens. Listen, I love my family. I love my wife, my kids, my grandkids. I love my in-laws. I got one of the greatest bunch of in-laws that anybody could ever have. And they're from Texas. But they love me just as I am, you know. I do, but you know what? I really love my church family. There is something special about church family, amen. when I see God's family hurt, I hurt. And I know you feel the same way. When Satan attacks the church family from the outside, it's real obvious, but listen, he likes to attack the family from inside the church. And it's harder to see. Church fights and church splits, they stop the work of God, and they make that front line look weak to our opponents. And there is nothing worse than a church split and a church fight. People have been through it. Paul said in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32, he says, "Be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake has forgiven you." We have got to love our church family, people. The last time I checked, we were all on the same side, amen? We need to return to the front line of working together in the ministry. We need to return to the front line by losing our egos and losing our personal agendas, and by making Jesus the preeminent one in our churches today. It's all about Him. It's not about me or you. It's about Him. The last reason that we need to return to the front line is because we are camped in an open field. In our text, the enemy had a walled city, but God's people were in an open field. Today, we live in a society where evil is protected and righteousness has to be fought for. Well, look at what they've been doing with all this gay stuff and transgender stuff and all this, and they're throwing the Bible right out the door. Isaiah 5:20 says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." Today we stand in that open field compared to Satan's army. TV, man, it shoots that immorality at us like a machine gun, and it just strips away our values. Our young people today stand in the open fields of the drugs and alcohol, and Satan deceives so many of them into thinking that it's harmless, that you can't get hooked. Listen, it's real easy to get hooked, I know. Our school children today, they stand in the open field with the anti-God teaching and the anti-Bible teaching in schools, and it comes at them so fast that they don't even know what's hit them. And do I need to remind you that these kids are our future church? They are our future country leaders. We have got to be on the front line to keep them grounded in the Word. It's our job to defend them. It's time that we were like Uriah, that we stood up and we say that as thou livest and as thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. We have to be the ones. We have got to be proactive. If you're on the front line serving your church right now, you stay there. But if you're not, what are you waiting for? God is calling you to return to the front line. 15 years ago, next month, we witnessed a horrific terrorist attack that instantly killed thousands of people on the Twin Towers. How many of them were saved? Just the thought that hundreds or even thousands of them slipped out to meet the Lord unprepared, that bothers me. How many more could to God's side before that day? People, if we don't take a stand on the front line, one day we're going to stand before God. And we're going to answer for it. Uriah, a Hittite, cared enough about the King of Kings. He cared enough about God Jehovah to get out there and fight for him. As Christians, as God's people, as God's children, how much more should we be fighting on the front line? I can have every head bowed, every eye closed. If you're saved, you made a commitment to God. You gave your life to Him, and it belongs to Him. And Jesus told us as Christians to go and to make disciples and to teach them. You know, that's what being on the front line is all about. We need to get busy. But you know, too many of us as Christians, we fall short of being on that front line. We like to stay back where it's safe. We don't like to be out there where waves are being made. But if we're going to fight for God, we're going to make waves. Are you willing to fight for God? My friends, if you're here today and you've never asked Jesus in your heart, if you've never asked Him to forgive you of your sins and come in and be Lord and Savior of your life, what is stopping you today from making that commitment to Him and letting Him be Lord and Savior of your life and getting out there on the front line with the rest of us? Today is the day of salvation. We have no promise of the future. We have no promise of even this afternoon. Right now is the time to get busy for God. Father God, we love you, we praise you, Father. We just ask now that you just speak to hearts, Father, for those that know that they know, Father, that they're a child of God. Father, just put a fire under them, that they'll get back into that front line of battle for you, Father. That we're going to turn this country around, it's going to have to start with us. If we're going to turn our churches around, Father, it's going to have to start with us. If we want to see our family fighting together on the front line for you, Father, it's got to start with us. Father, there's even one here today that does not know Jesus Christ. Father, I pray they'll not walk out of this building without getting that right with you. Father, it's so simple. It's so simple to be a Christian. But Father, I know it's a hard life to live. And Father, you've walked with me my entire Christian life. And you've never let me go. And I know that you've done the same with every Christian in this room.